So Wakefield getting ready for this important match for them. They have won 7 of their opening 11, including a 24-22 win against the Bulls at Bellevue on Easter Monday. 4th win in 12 home meetings against Bradford in Super League. And Bradford, well, it's been by some distance their worst start to a Super League season, but last Friday's win at St Helens was one of their bravest in 14 Super League years. Let's take a check on the way the two teams line up. At Wakefield, they've got Blaymire at full-back. Peterson comes onto the wing. There's no Damien Blanche, of course. He's out for the season. Martin, Atkins and Scott Griggs on the other flank. Obst and Bruff will control things at half-back. The forwards, Wilkes, Drew and Moore. Snitch, Henderson and Dimitriou, the skipper. And the bench, it's Danny Sculthorpe, Tavita Leolatu, Dale Ferguson, Kyle Bibb. The coach is John Keir. Now the Bradford Bulls, Halley at full-back. Sharif, Sykes, Nero returns to the centres alongside Semi Tadulala. Jeffries moves to stand off because at long last they welcome back their captain, Paul Deacon. Up front it's Lynch, Newton and Scruton, Burgess, Menzies and Langley. And the bench here occupied by Cook, Warrensey, Kopjak and the Frenchman Julian Rinaldi for the coach Steve McNamara. Okay, it's a lovely day here in Edinburgh and the rain is holding off, which is important. Our international lineup in the commentary box shows just the one change from the first match. Phil Clark has replaced Brian Carney. Also up there, Barry McDermott and Terry O'Connor, all of them ex-Great Britain internationals. They are led, though, by Bill Arthur.
The Bradford Bulls with fond memories of this Murrayfield Stadium. The last game here was in 2000 when they beat the Leeds Rhinos 24 points to 18 in the Challenge Cup final. That memorable one when Murrayfield was underwater just 24 hours before the game and the match was almost in doubt. And the local fire service and all sorts of local organisations worked heroics to get the pitch playable. Well, no chance of any dramas like that this time. It's been a fantastic day in Edinburgh. The fans have been enjoying themselves all day and waiting for the action to start. And for the Wakefield and Bradford fans, it's just about to get underway. And both sets of supporters in good mood. So too the coach Steve McNamara, despite suffering from a bit of flu at the moment, feeling a bit under the weather, but certainly not his team after that victory against St Helens last time out. That will have done their spirits a power of good.
This has the makings of a great game. It's got a 34-24 written all over it. We're just not sure which side's going to win. Both sides are capable of racking up points, and I think both sides will concentrate initially on improving their defence from recent efforts.
The Wakefield Trinity Wildcats looking to bounce back after a hammering and really an out-of-character performance from them as far as this season goes. By Wigan last time out, they lost 40 points to 26. John Keir making 1 or 2 changes as a result of that and hoping for a response from his side in this match at Murrayfield. Just about to get underway. Ian Smith, the referee, waiting to blow the whistle. And Danny Bruff launching the Wakefield attack. And underneath it, Ben Jeffries. The good news for the Bradford Bulls supporters is that Paul Deacon is back in the side after missing the last 4 games. And there is a bit more of a familiar look to this Bradford side. Still 1 or 2 players missing, of course, significantly. David Solomona and Glenn Morrison are out. There is no Michael Platt in this Bradford Bulls side this afternoon either, but that is purely on team selection matters, according to Steve McNamara. And there is Paul Deacon. And restored to the captaincy as well. Andy Lynch didn't do a bad job in his place, and already giving the ball a bit of width for the Bradford Bulls, maybe signifying their intention here.
Well, they're recognising some space down that right-hand side of the field, and Terry Newton takes another 10 metres, although I think he lost the ball, but it's gone backwards. The referee says it's the last tackle.
It went backwards, bellows Ian Smith, and they managed to get the kick in. Deacon does, but not particularly strong, but it's still going forwards via a circuitous route, and eventually Wakefield managed to defuse the danger.
Well, that will be an important area for Wakefield tonight, to put pressure on Paul Deacon when he kicks the ball. He can be one of the best in the game, and the Wildcats must pressure him whenever he gets the ball.
So Wakefield in possession for the first time. Here's big Richard Moore. Good to see him back in action after having to contend with Crohn's disease, still having to contend with Crohn's disease. Richard Moore lost an awful lot of weight as that illness was managed, but he's back in action. He's put some of the weight back on, not all of it, but it's good to see him back, and he's in the thick of it again. That's the 5th tackle, and the kick will come in from the Scottish international Danny Brough, looking to fire it over the head of the former Wakefield man Semi Tadulala, but Tadulala turns and grabs that one and then brings it back.
Well, the kick chase has always been a good barometer to tell you how Wakefield are travelling. In recent weeks, it hasn't been as enthusiastic as it can possibly be, and in fact, last week they missed over 50 tackles in the match against Wigan. There wasn't the energy, the attitude to want to defend and hunt down their opponents. That needs to be evident today.
Here's Burgess, and there is John Keir. Disappointed with that performance against Wigan, because it really was out of character from his side, who's shown bags of that this season with what they've had to contend with. Menzies trying to shift that ball on quickly. Well, it does reach Ricky Sharif, but he's come back in field and lost ground. Hounded down is the Bulls winger, and that's the 5th tackle. So they haven't made much progress here. And then Deacon thumps that ball downfield. And there's Matt Peterson bringing the ball back. Peterson making his first appearance of the season for the Wakefield Trinity Wildcats. Been out injured, regaining fitness. And with the problems they've got, with Damien Blanche out for possibly the remainder of the season, Aaron Murphy also out injured, it was timely that Peterson was back in the frame. Wilkes plays the ball. Now here's Steve Snitch.
10 metres.
4 tackles gone. Well, we've seen a bit of adventure from the Bulls early on. Jason Demetriou now the captain of this way, short of the halfway line, plays the ball, and then Brad Drew, change of direction, gets a good kick in, and it's fielded by Dave Halley, and Halley with Ricky Sharif.
Not just a change of direction, actually, he changed the foot that he was going to kick the ball with. It's a pretty amazing piece of skill to put it so accurately with your left foot, and he'd been all set to kick it with his right.
It's Paul Sykes, and Sykes had an outstanding game at standoff against St Helens last Friday, but restored to the centres.
Terry Newton now making some metres, and I think this is the key area for Wakefield. Before they need to go forward, they need to practice containing Bradford when at all possible and finding some role here. Now, Ben Jeffries, the Bulls have started this game in the first 4 minutes particularly strongly.
And Deacon, another high kick from him. Blaymire returns that ball. Matt Blaymire really been in solid form this season, outstanding, ever-present fullback. Peterson.
You look along the team lines as Matt Blaymire takes that high ball, but it's all about who wants it the most. They're very evenly matched. They've got big set of forwards, they've got speed out wide. That guy who's making the tackle, Terry Newton, he's a real key threat for this Bradford side. He makes more runs from dummy half than anyone else in Super League, and he really did. They missed him last week when he went off. He went off on 26 minutes, and Bradford seemed to really suffer.
Snitch moves into the Bradford half. That's the 5th tackle. Brough hanging back to put the kick in, just finds himself a little bit of space, and left-footed downfield into the arms of Tadulala. Halley across to help him out. Semi Tadulala then links up with Dave Halley. Halley had a lone spell with the Wakefield club earlier this season. What an impact he made. Got 4 tries in his 5 games with the club.
Interesting choice of player when they have to kick the ball. Wakefield electing to give it to Semi Tadulala. The first penalty now awarded against Wakefield for offside. Players not getting back quickly enough. Or in fact, starting off too quickly before the ball was even played. But kicking to Tadulala, if you look at the 3 players you've got to kick to, Sharif, Halley or Tadulala, tell you what, looking at them close up, there's only one player that I wouldn't kick it to, and he's got number 5 on his back.
I think what they're doing, Phil, is they're deciding that they don't want to have to cope with him coming away from that dummy half position. They view him as more dangerous when he's got time to set.
Well, they know all about him. Here is Burgess now. Burgess links with Deacon. Menzies. Great hands from the Bulls, and Jeffries is through. And they're in for the first try from Paul Sykes. And the Bulls have already signalled their intention, giving it a bit of width, and that time, good work from Menzies, good work from Deacon, and a great finish, a simple finish from Sykes. Gets gets his second try of the season. As I said, outstanding against St Helens last week in a standoff role. Restored to the centres and on the mark.
Perhaps finding his best position here, and Bradford showing how to use him to his full potential. They're shifting the ball now 3 times to that right-hand side, and on every occasion they've found an overlap. This is the first time when they've been able to put the ball where the man needs it most. In front of him at pace, clearly outflanking Bradford to the corner. And Bradford, as I say, a confident, dominant and very, very strong opening to this game.
Sykes making his 50th appearance for the Bradford club over his 2 spells with the Bulls. That's a good way to mark it as well. Paul Deacon restored to the captaincy, restored to the goal-kicking duties as well. Sykes has been doing a sterling job in his absence, but it's Deacon who has this opportunity. A tricky one from out wide. And he scuffed that one a little bit. So Deacon misses with that, but Sykes on target. First try of the game to put Bradford 4-0 up.
Well, there's only one Wakefield player outside the man circled, and look how close we are to the goalposts. There is an awful amount of land there now for Wakefield to cover. Griggs can't do it, and it's such an easy stroll in then for Sykes.
We've seen enough from Bradford in the opening 5 or so minutes to think that they're, 8 minutes or so, to think that they're going to play with plenty of width. Lots of passes, lots of width and lots of speed.
Brough then gets height on that kick, and Burgess tracks back to collect it virtually on his own try line. So Bradford, obviously, that victory over St Helens when they came from 26-10 down last Friday, it really does seem to have done wonders for their confidence.
Well, Phil mentioned the word there, confidence. In the first 9 games, they actually only won 2 games. But look at the way that they've started. They're throwing the ball around, they're taking the opposition on. But as well, games that they've lost, they've only lost by 2 points to Wakefield and 2 points to Catalan, so they really do know how to tough out the games.
Well, the Bulls have a pretty good record against this Wakefield club. 22 meetings, and Bradford have won 16 of them in the Super League era. As you can see there, it's not been one of the happiest fixtures for the Wakefield club. It was on Easter Monday. They beat them 24-22.
It was 4 tries all, wasn't it? Goal kicking the difference. And perhaps by Paul Deacon's standards, a poor miss from the try by Sykes. I know it was close to the sideline, but the closeness of these 2 sides dictates that you'll have to take those points.
Jason Dimitri plays that ball. Brad Drew, Brough, is Sam Obst. Obst cut down as he entered it, the 40 by Steve Menzies, and Menzies telling me before the game that there is Scottish blood. Fair way back down the track in the Menzies clan. Oh, and Halley spilled that ball under no real pressure. Well, there a certain amount of pressure, Dave Halley, as he came for that ball.
Well, I mean, the action replay doesn't show how difficult this kick would be to take. It's wobbling around in the air, twisting and turning and drifting slightly away from Halley. I think the amount of distance he had to cover to get to the ball also put him under pressure. Never looked confident from the moment it was kicked. Travelled too far and couldn't take the ball.
So head and feed to the Wildcats in a great position. Here is Brough, and now Ryan Atkins, a former Bradford player, frustrated really at the end of his Bradford career, not making the progress he wanted to. Certainly has made the progress as he's moved to Wakefield. Henderson plays the ball, another of the Scottish link with this Wakefield side. Obst, great movement from the Wakefield players. Snitch plays that ball. Again, they go out wide, and Bradford very quickly up on them, so Atkins comes back across the field and almost finds a way through Ryan Atkins. They play the ball, and Moore will plunge over the try line, but will he get the ball down? I'm not sure he has, you know.
I think they've held him up. Ian Smith wants another look at it, but Richard Moore gets over the try line. I think Bradford have done really well and denied this try.
Well, Bradford did well 2 players earlier. Steve Menzies came up with a wonderful tackle, and I think Halley here has also complemented that effort. He gets himself into position. Richard Moore's a real handful in rugby league when he runs with the ball. In fact, just sacrificed himself here, Halley. He's helped by number 17, Nick Scruton, somewhat. But he gets the legs underneath the ball, the body at the side. Maybe we'll see another angle to confirm. The referee was in an excellent position. He couldn't do any more. You see the orange socks in your picture. And from that side, he's clearly not grounded at this point. Now, how long does the tackle continue for? Well, no, there's no way he's grounded it. He would not still be wriggling around trying to put the ball on the floor. Wonderful effort by Scruton and Halley. I think that's play 4. There are 2 more left after this. And Wakefield is showing close to the line. They have got players who can get over it, but can they get the ball down?
So Richard Silver is still debating whether Richard Moore got that ball down. It looks as though Wakefield have been denied on this occasion. But this particular attack isn't over because they will get to play the ball on that 10-metre line. So Richard Moore denied, but Wakefield come again, and Obbs chips a little kick in, but Sharif is underneath that one, and he was taken in the air, I think.
Well, that's when really you need your concentration. The excellent kick in the air, you have to wait till it lands, because if Atkins did, he clearly had him back in the in-goal area. Wakefield should have received possession again from a goal line dropout, but sometimes the temptation to make that tackle is too great.
So let off for Bradford. Richard Moore denied, and then Wakefield hand them the penalty, which gets them out of danger, really, under a bit of pressure, possibly anticipating having to concede a goal line dropout.
And in certain ways, it's a lazy penalty as well. You just got to wait till his feet touch the floor, and then you can try and dominate him, push him over the back, and I'm sure John Key will be very disappointed in that.
Scruton plays the ball. Newton gets it away to Langley. Langley turns, but runs into the same congestion.
Go, 3.
Newton for Menzies.
4.
Tackled on the halfway line. 4
Go, 4.
tackles gone in this set of 6. And here's Andy Lynch. Lynch flicks that ball out. What great work from Richard Moore. And it's back to 1. Well, it almost came off as he dived for that, flicked it backwards, but it was a Bradford player who was in the way.
Tragedy for Richard Moore. He knows how good Lynch and Burgess and Menzies are at offloading the ball, and he got behind them on the play, but none of his teammates could come up with possession, and now got 4 more tackles to defend.
Go, 3.
Here is Deacon. Deacon pops the ball up for Langley. Langley for a hole. Newton in support. Another try for the Bulls. And calamity for Wakefield. Conceding the penalty, then possession, and Bradford taking full advantage of it. Newton under the post for his 2nd try of the season. Great break from Langley. And at one end, Wakefield are denied. Richard Moore not being awarded the try, but absolutely no doubt about that one from Terry Newton.
Well, the great ball players in rugby run at defenders and then deliver a perfect pass. And Paul Deacon is able to do this here with the Bradford side. Inside their opponent's half, they go to show, look, he takes the ball, he goes forward of the line, puts it in front of Lynch, onto Langley, back inside to Newton. It's a try that we see very often now. Just a minute earlier, we go from one end with a try disallowed for Richard Moore. He's had some rough justice in the last 2 minutes, but Paul Deacon won't care if he can put 2 more points on the scoreboard.
And Deacon back in front of the posts. Lands his 22nd of the season. And Bradford are 10-0 up. It could have been that Wakefield would have been ahead by 6 points to 4 just a few moments ago, but as it is, 10-0 to the Bulls.
What you've got when you've got Paul Deacon in your ranks is you've got an ability to find a hole. If you run into the hole, then Paul Deacon will give you a sweet enough pass.
Well, let's credit Andy Lynch as well there. He's really run aggressively as though he's going to get that ball. He's attracted Brad Drew, and Langley's just hit a real good line outside. He's run into space, and Deacon's found him.
Here is Lynch. Running at Tony Martin. Martin with the tackle, Peterson with the assist. Now Burgess. Burgess almost through a gap in the Wakefield defence there.
He's got lovely late footwork, Sam Burgess. That's why he gets that one-on-one tackle and the ability to get the ball away, as Halley does so again.
Dave Halley takes the tackle. Halley was here in 2000 as a Bradford supporter, cheering them on in that victory. That was off Deacon's knees. Play on, says the referee. Sykes with the kick. He was outside the 40.
The intelligence of the kick is to kick it away from you would most expect it to go. It meant that Blairmeyer had to shift from the far side of the field to the right touchline or right centre field, and it helped Bradford gain that extra 10 metres.
Is this more like the old Bradford?
It is, because you're hearing the referee shout dominant so often when they're making tackles. Wakefield aren't at the best here. They haven't had enough possession, really, and I think that's one of the reasons why they're starting to fatigue.
Brad Drew to Kevin Henderson, went to the World Cup with Scotland. Kevin Henderson through the Glaswegian link, his father born in Glasgow. Oh, and that's a stray pass, and Wakefield just looking a little bit disjointed at the moment.
When you can't go forward, that's what happens. You pass the ball to nowhere, you make offloads that aren't necessary. And Tadulala's enjoying this.
The kick's coming Semi Tadulala's way, and the space opening up for the Fijian winger. Peterson clinging on to his bootstraps. Here goes Halley. Halley down the short side. He's got support from Chris Nero. Nero inside the 20. This is looking ominous for Wakefield and looking threatening from the Bradford Bulls. Here is Ben Jeffries. Jeffries links with Deacon. Just for a moment, Jeffries scented an opportunity. Three tackles gone. The early kick for Ricky Sharif to take. Well dealt with by Grix. Wakefield have it back, but they've got to work from deep. And Bradford looking to constrict them now.
Hold. Too early, Nick.
And they get just what they needed, the penalty that allowed them to move upfield.
That's a massive relief for Wakefield. They could not go forward. The yardage battle was clearly being won by Bradford. And they needed a penalty here for Brad Drew. You notice when Bradford have the ball, they repeatedly go into the right-hand side of the attack. And players like Brad Drew are going to be asked questions for the remainder of this game. On several occasions, they've made the wrong ones in defence, and it's starting to hurt Wakefield.
Snitch, great offload from Steve Snitch, and that ball collected by Brad Drew. Drew links with Moore, and Moore has lost it. And it's a Bradford knock-on, says Ian Smith. Burgess, I think it was, got a hand to it.
Knocked it down that way.
Well, it's a one-on-one steal initially. Burgess takes it from the arms of Richard Moore, but he then says it's a knock-on by Sam Burgess, the number 8 in blue, gone forward, and Wakefield with a great position here from a scrum.
Just on that 30-metre line, then in the Bradford half, and Blairmeyer is tackled.
Hold, go, one.
Grix now. Snitch.
2.
He's tackled by Nick Scruton.
Hold.
Wakefield inching their way forward. They trail by 10 points to 0 here at Murrayfield.
3. Move to
The crowd are
go, 3.
thickening out as the day progresses, building towards the climax here this evening. Wigan against Saints to come.
Hold to go, 4.
But here come Wakefield. That's a great kick from Brough, and Tadulala under pressure, forced to concede the goal line dropout. That's more like it from Wakefield, more like it from Danny Brough.
I don't know, you
Hang
know.
on a minute. He's gone to ask to Richard Silverwood.
I thought Tony Martin actually got a touch to this.
Well, that's why the Bradford players appealed, and the referee has asked for a second opinion.
I don't know whether he's got enough control. I think he got hold of it before it went. There's Tadulala trying to get it out. Tony Martin on the right of your screen there with the head guard on. Does he get enough control on it?
He doesn't need control as long as he's had contact.
No.
He's kicked the ball over the dead ball line.
So that's more likely to be a restart on the 20.
I think relief for Bradford. They took a 10-point-0 lead over St Helens last week, and then it went also wrong, didn't it, over before the half-time hooter. It's about maintaining control in rugby league when you have it, and it revolves it around a massive amount of concentration.
Hold, go, 1.
But that's a positive for Wakefield. Got to the kick, and the kick put Bradford under pressure, so they
hold, go, 2.
they've showed that they can turn this Bradford side round. Here's Nick Scruton,
3.
another who's been ever present all season
10's weight.
for the Bulls.
Go, 3.
Langley.
4. Sam off. Hold, hold.
Langley gets to his feet to play the ball. Newton. Lynch, a lovely offload from Lynch. Finds Deacon. Deacon hoping for some support. Flings a pass out for Tadulala. Tadulala will take on Peterson. Across comes Brough as well to make the tackle.
Go.
On the last, Jeffries, crossfield kick, Menzies chasing it, Menzies just unable to get there ahead of Griggs.
Well, the game's starting to open up now with an end-to-end flow.
Go.
Wakefield's almost scoring at one end here. Griggs does well to deny Steve Menzies. Quick tap here, but Bradford again showing that their focus is back on the defence. Scott Griggs is a very talented rugby league player. I'm not quite sure he's ever going to be a wingman.
I'm not sure about the head guard, the headband. He looks more like a stunt double for John McEnroe.
Yes, I was wondering who it was.
3, hands out.
Looking for a cameo part in a movie. He's doing pretty well on the left wing, but he wants some help. He doesn't want to be isolated that often. Here's the crossfield kick when he's under so much pressure. Menzies chasing for him, stayed cool, and took the ball now. Wakefield with some subs on the field here, looking to inject some pace down the middle of the field.
We talk about Scott Griggs not being a winger. He actually got a hat-trick in Millennium Magic a couple of years ago when Wakefield put Castleford Tigers to the sword, 54-16.
In the middle.
That was last year.
I think his long-term future is closer to the middle of the field, isn't it? Somewhere maybe at standoff or something like that.
He's very dangerous when he's got the ball in his hand. He's a real director. He takes the line on. He likes to mix it with the big guys in the middle of the park because he has got really good footwork.
Well, it's Bradford who are in possession.
Go. 1.
That restart on the 20, and here's Ricky Sharif.
2.
Sharif, who celebrated, or will celebrate his 24th birthday next week. Now Deacon Jeffries. Jeffries runs into a solid challenge from Tony Martin.
10 meters. Move. Go.
Burgess flips the ball on. Nero couldn't take that one as it was going behind his head.
Knock on, no advantage.
I think they call it a no-look pass, don't they, in basketball, to try and deceive the defenders. He continues, keeps his eyes on Danny Brough, flicks the pass, but it's just over the head of Nero.
Right.
That's the gamble though, Phil, isn't it? Andy Lynch did one and put Paul Deakin through a massive gap. Really are multi-talented, the forwards these days. I love to see forwards passing the ball, not just like cannon fodder, using their skill and ability.
1.
Wakefield looking for a way back into this game, trailing by 10 points to 0, but after a fiery start, Wakefield have just started maybe to a fiery start from the Bulls. Wakefield has just started to even things up a little bit, if not on the scoreboard, then maybe in terms of possession and territory. And they're coming forward now with Dimitru.
You can start to do that when players put a hole in the opposition defence. Snitch carried well for 10 metres. He is now Sculthorpe taking them forward.
Danny Sculthorpe on, and he'll be looking to offload the ball, something he does so well.
Release.
What we call a
Sculthorpe.
compulsive offloader.
Obst showed it left and right, and then went on his own, and John Keir, well, he'll be satisfied with this little phase of play from his side. They've got the penalty.
Brad, I'm going to move out to the way. Go.
And no question of going for the tap. They're going for the 6 points. If they can get him.
On the line, 2 feet. Steve Menzies, 2
Kyle
feet.
Bibbid is who'll eventually get to his feet to play the ball. Bruff! Simple as that. Absolutely clinical, but presumably he's looking at obstruction.
It's Danny Sculthorpe, I think, who goes through. Does he take a Bradford player out?
Well, they had 6 more tackles because of the penalty on the very last tackle, and here they make it look simple. Now, Terry Newton's involved there, Danny Sculthorpe. Is there any obstruction? Does he impede him? Does he prevent the number 9 in the dark blue shirt from making a tackle on Danny Brough here, the try scorer? I think Newton's initially made the decision to go to him, and I don't believe that Danny Sculthorpe holds on to him.
I think
He grips him with his left arm.
Yeah.
I think there's a little tug of Terry Newton's shirt, but Terry Newton went for Danny Sculthorpe there. You're seeing him. Danny Sculthorpe's done the right job, but it's here. He seems to grip hold of Terry Newton, stopping him from getting from the to the right.
Marginally, you're right, from behind, head on.
Isn't that going to be hard? If that is disallowed on those grounds.
But it's the correct rule, I agree.
He's definitely gripped hold of his shirt. If he just would have done his job, gone through as a dummy runner, that try would have been scored.
Well, will it be awarded? No. Brough can't believe that. The coach looks, well, non-committal.
And do you know what, Bill? They're like little honest players then. Danny Sculthorpe does his job. He comes through as the dummy runner. He attracts Terry Newton. He does not need to grip hold of Terry Newton there.
This game is so close. We've had Richard Moore's try disallowed when he's been over the line, correctly so. He couldn't get the ball down. Bruce tried tonight. It could easily be 12-10.
Yep.
Very easily between 12-10.
And this is starting to get into the danger part of the game for Bradford. On 25 minutes last week, both Terry Newton and Sam Burgess went off, and that's when they really seemed to struggle.
Well, they did manage to come back from that, but Wakefield certainly will feel that it's got to turn their way. Denied twice now.
Kyle, wait.
And they've exposed some gaps in this Bradford defence, but Bradford looking to do that to Wakefield. And Newton, a good run from him. Dimitri it is who makes the tackle. Newton tight to the touchline. Deacon just had to pause and take that one out of the air, then finds Lynch.
Hold.
So Bradford immediately on the attack. Deacon, Jeffries, little burst of power from him. The pass was forward. Sykes took the pass, but it was forward from Jeffries, and referee Ian Smith brings them back.
Well, we're going to get an end-to-end thriller this weekend. This could be the game here now. Now Bradford here going so close, almost penetrating the line. The pass adjudged forward.
Not sure. Menzies might have been the better option inside, though. I'm not sure it's marginal, that one.
So Bradford denied. Steve McNamara looking non-committal there, so both the coaches with something to grumble about now, either end of the field.
10 metres! Hold.
That looked like a harsh call.
Go, 1.
Dimitri,
2.
big hit on him. He'll take those all day for his club, will Jason Dimitri. Atkins now, and again the Bulls mass to repel him.
That's where Bradford are looking really strong. In the collision, they're turning the Wakefield players onto the back, but as well when they've got the ball, they seem to be able to get the ball away, play through the Wakefield defence and really offload the ball, and they're looking to play it on every occasion.
Great work from Wakefield coming forward. Obst eventually is tackled on the 5th. Now Drew, little kick into the corner. Snitch is chasing this one. Halley might be under a little bit of pressure. No, that one runs over the dead ball line. They'll tap on the 20.
Well, it was Snitch who provided the speed, injected some life into Wakefield down the middle of the field, provided a wonderful one-handed offload, and we are going end-to-end here now as we approach 15 minutes from half-time.
Quick play the ball from the Bulls. Menzies it is, and Menzies has lost that one. Uncharacteristic error there from Steve Menzies.
No, he tried to offload.
And both sides trying to break free here now, put on that next score on the board, and a mistake by Steve Menzies.
I think Dimitri might have even had a hand in that, but the previous game it was a low-risk, error-free virtually game. Both of these sides have come here to play rugby.
Well, certainly that's what Wakefield are doing now with Danny Brough. Brough scampering across the field, trying to find Peterson, but still going Brough. Inside the 10 now. Bags of tackles in the bank for this Wakefield side. The pass reaches Drew. Drew for Snitch. Snitch outstanding so far for Wakefield in this game here at Murrayfield, the second match in this Edinburgh Magic weekend. Here is Sculthorpe now, again turning to offload and managing to do that. Brough support from Martin. Well, Martin came back in field, but Peterson collects that one, the American international. He takes the tackle. 3 gone. Brough, Martin, just a pause from him, finds Obst. Obst comes back across the field, and they get the penalty, and that was a high tackle on Sam Obst.
Well, this now will be a test for Bradford. Great position here. Wakefield have so many creative players. Drew, Brough, Obst, Tony Martin. So many options, and Danny Sculthorpe's ability to keep the ball alive in the tackle.
Dimitri plunges over the try line and gets the try. And Wakefield have done what they've been threatening. They've been denied twice by the video ref, but no doubt about that one. And Jason Dimitri, from that penalty, charging onto the ball and hurling himself over that try line through the Bulls defenders to get Wakefield on the scoreboard. Jason Dimitri, ever present this season, gets his second try of the season, and characteristic commitment from the Wildcats captain.
Well, Sam Obst here is grappled around the head and neck, and this is a penalty. And I don't know if I've ever seen a player in Super League who consistently plays with more determination than Jason Dimitri. Every time he takes the field and every time he carries the ball, he's determined to get as far forward as possible. He only needs to get 6 or 7 metres on this run, because if he does that, he's over the line.
So the second try of the season for Jason Dimitriou. And first success of the evening for Danny Brough. And Wakefield have cut the deficit. John Keir, a few instructions down to the sidelines to Paul Broadbent, his assistant. Steve McNamara looking as impassive as ever, but his Bradford side, after a lively start, well, it just maybe handed the control of the game back to Wakefield.
Picks out the smallest guy there, Dave Halley, runs at him, thinks that's probably my best chance of getting through. I don't fancy Steve Menzies. I'm not going to take on Andy Lynch, but I've beat the full-back and I've scored the first try for my side.
And that's it, Billy, Phil. It's a clever little play that. If you come onto the ball as hard and as strong and as aggressive as that, you're going to get rewarded. And that time, Jason Dimitriou scored the try.
So the Wildcats with their tails up now. And the Bulls, well, is this an echo of last week against St Helens? A good start, and then they've lost the momentum. Wakefield in possession. It's with Dale Ferguson. Ferguson plays the ball. Oh. And then Dimitriou. He's gone from 0 to 0 because he dropped that ball, and no advantage to the Bulls, and they will get head and feet at the scrum.
Danny Brough showing the fighting spirit here. He actually stole it back, didn't he, after the initial error? It's knocked forward, picked by Newton. Brough steals it off him. The referee says no advantage for Bradford, and they now start to set inside the opponent's half from the scrum.
Here is Dave Halley.
Hold, go.
Plays the ball on that Wakefield 40-metre line. So the Bulls lead cut to just 4 points now, 10-6 ahead.
Hold, go, 2.
Here is Menzies. Menzies away from the first tackler and looking for an offload, gets it away well, Menzies. Deacon has support from Kopczak. Kopczak got his first career try against St Helens last weekend, and obviously he's got the taste for them, gets the penalty. Just clinging on to him as the Welsh international look to play the ball quickly there. And they take the tap. No thought of going for goal from either of these sides. Lynch with the offload. Jeffries across the field, trying to worm his way through this Wakefield Trinity line.
Hold 2 feet, go.
Menzies, Halley to Kopczak.
Turn, on the line, move.
2 tackles gone.
Go.
Julian Rinaldi is on to join the action. Nero pops the ball over the top, tries to. Tadulala picks it up and it's back to 1. There was a hand in there. It was Matt Peterson who just deflected the ball, so the Bulls able to build some pressure here. Rinaldi sends him down the short side. Now it's with Matt Cook.
1. Move, Jason.
Julian Rinaldi here on loan, or here at Bradford on loan, and Rinaldi, just for a moment he saw Obst move up, thought, I fancy that, but Obst got back to shut him down.
On the line, 2 feet. Hold, go.
Langley to Jeffries. Good pass from Jeffries, finds Sykes. Sykes slips the clutches and he's through, and immediately the Bulls respond, and Sykes gets his second try of the season. And Steve McNamara, well, takes a lot to please a coach these days. And his side on the scoreboard, great response to that little passage of domination from Wakefield. The Bulls hitting back and Sykes finishing off that move.
Well, you need to take advantage when you're given so much possession close to your opponent's line. And Bradford clearly do that here. They were awarded a penalty. And then, of course, the tackle count was wiped back to the start. Peterson's hand there before Tadulala got it. But I like the quality of these 2 wide passes. Langley, then on to Jeffries. The quality of the passes is complemented by the quality of the run by Sykes. A straight. He doesn't run towards the corner flag, he runs straight towards the try line. It makes it difficult for the defenders to cope with him, especially with his rugged run and his aggression taking through. And I think happy now to stop the rot. They didn't want Wakefield to gain momentum by scoring again.
Deakin with the conversion attempt, Missed with that one. It's taken him obviously a bit of time to get back into the groove with his kicking.
We see both types of passing in that particular passage of play. We see the spin pass that takes 20 metres, and when it's passed to a bloke running on the run at some pace, it's a nice soft-handed pass. Beautiful skill, although Paul Deacon's shaking his head.
Just one success from 3 for Paul Deacon. As Phil mentioned earlier on, the goal kicking might prove crucial if this does turn out to be another close game like the Easter one did.
Well, before his injury, he was an 86% goal kicker, which was the best in Super League, and by any standard in either court of rugby is an amazing record. Here's Bradford down the left wing.
Adventure from the kickoff. Tadjilala set free from by Lynch. Here is Langley. And the Bulls looking to mount another assault on the Wakefield line before the half-time hooter sounds. I tell you, when the hooter sounds, you'll hear it. It's just not far away from us.
Hold! Move! 3, wait!
Bulls just inside their own half. Here is Menzies now. Menzies loops the pass out for Sharif. Sharif cuts back in field. They're clutching at him. The ball back to Sykes. Sykes for Menzies, and Menzies for a wonderful try. And the Bulls do get back-to-back tries. And a blistering try it was as well. It was the veteran Steve Menzies who finished it off, his 7th of the season. And really the shackles are off this Bradford side. They've laboured to get it right this season. A worst start to the season as far as the Super League era goes. But today we're seeing maybe a Bradford Bulls side that's starting to believe in themselves again.
Well, they had a 3v2, and it's a brilliant pass by Steve Menzies to start the whole play. He hits Sharif. The support and the handling skills here, the catches are top class. And I'll tell you what, if we see a better try than this the weekend, I'll be surprised and I'll stand up and applaud. This is brilliant, absolutely brilliant play. Winger backing himself, taking on, using his speed. Sykes in support, keeps the ball alive. He knows he won't make it. And has there a better supporting forward been in the last decade of rugby league? I don't think so. He's just about made that kick, but only just from Paul Deacon.
Well, it's there. And a shake of the head, I think, from Deacon, acknowledging the fact that it's possibly not, he's not at his most fluent yet.
There's indications how confident this Bradford side are. Last time the ball was kicked off to them, Semi Tadjilala stayed on the short side and he made some big inroads. But here's the try that scored. Ricky Sharif holding good field position on his wing, but looking to offload the ball. Sykes again, offload the ball. He knows that somebody's in support. And that's a good effort that from the Bradford players. They all seem to be turning up for each other. Oh.
That one just out on the full, and a sigh of relief, I think, from the Bulls.
I think a sigh of relief from Matt Cook, because he got caught in 2 minds and almost made a monumental error. He goes for it when it was probably already out. His foot was over the sideline. It would have taken the kick over anyway, I should say. So once the foot's over the sideline, if he touches the ball, it would have been a penalty to Bradford on the halfway line, as it already was.
It's the 7th try of the season for Steve Menzies. He's got 3 already in his British career against Wakefield. He got 2 against them on Easter Monday in that defeat. And on target for the Bulls here. Here is Lynch. Kopczak felt that. Big hit on him from Sculthorpe, assisted by Sam Obst it was. Here is Menzies. John Keir heading down to the sidelines, ready to address his side at half-time and maybe to give him a bit of a rousing speech, just to possibly restore a bit of belief in themselves.
The key to Bradford here is the bloke in the next hole. They're all pushing up with one another, so 3 people can't account for the ball carry. They need to look at that support player. Just watch how many players push through.
Sykes for Jeffries. Jeffries with the kick. Sharif fumbles that ball. Oh, the chance was there for Ricky Sharif.
Oh, they're looking for the offload. They're looking to play on every single play and never say die attitude. A real pinpoint kick. But Sharif just couldn't bend his back to pick that up. It was
probably too easy for him.
Steve Mack says, I could have scored that one.
I don't know about that, Bill. Maybe a few years ago for Steve Mack.
Well, Ricky Sharif holds his head, disappointed in that, but Sharif, a moment ago, we saw what he could do, creating that try or helping create that try for Menzies.
They've been outstanding on the attack in front of Bradford, but Danny Sculthorpe, when he goes into contact, I said it briefly about 10 or 15 minutes ago, he's what we call a compulsive offloader, but all his teammates respect that about him, and they are again looking for him to offload it.
Here's the feisty Tavita Leo Latu, who's on for the Wildcats just to the closing minutes of this first half that Bradford, by and large, have dominated, certainly at the start. Then Wakefield with that purple patch in the middle. The kick will find Sharif, and Sharif is dragged back into his own in-goal area. Good work from Atkins.
Very good work from Atkins. You've got to be aware, and you always say the kick's as good as the chase. That was just a bit of urgency. He knew exactly where he was. He knew that he had to get Ricky Sharif over the line. They've earned the dropout. They've got one more set of 6 to try and get over this Bradford line.
When Bradford get round to taking the goal line dropout, that is. Which isn't going to be in a hurry.
That's interesting. Deacon not dropping it out.
It's Sykes who'll try and get a bit of distance with this and doesn't do a bad job. Just up to the halfway line where Brough fields it. Now Sculthorpe. So can they just put something together in the last minute of this first half? Here's Dale Ferguson now. A cornerstone of his side, according to John Keir, in the build-up to this game. Really has come on strong as Dale Ferguson, just 21 years old, but he's been ever present for them so far this season. Now here's Brad Drew at the other end of the spectrum, the 33-year-old.
Got it away.
Drew managing to get it away to Tavita Leo Latu. That ball's gone backwards. Play on, says Ian Smith. Obbs it is who fields it. An opportunity maybe in the closing seconds here for Wakefield, but that was forward. And the chance goes away for Wakefield. Bradford will get head and feed.
Sam Hobbs rubbing his head. Why did he do that? Maybe they were better to take the tackle in the middle of the park as the forward pass. But take the tackle in the middle of the park. You've got options. You can split your halfbacks either side. But a good first 40 minutes for this Bradford side, though.
That it has, and more like the Bulls of old as well, for the most part of this first half. Bradford racing into a 10-0 lead. Wakefield coming back at them to cut the gap to 10-6. But since then, Bradford have regrouped, and at the break they lead by 20 points to 6.
Well, the Bradford Bulls aiming for their 250th weekly round victory here at Murrayfield today, as the crowd can hear. And, well, the hairdos and the fancy dress, they're in evidence. Out there on the pitch, though, the teams are ready to go. Let's get back to the commentary box, and first of all, Bill Arthur.
Well, there's some interesting hairstyles up here as well, but Bradford Bulls 40 minutes away from their first ever Magic Weekend win. They've lost 2 games so far, both of them to Leeds. Last year, 40 points to 26, and that controversial 42-38 defeat in 2007. But this one, they're ahead so far. An enthralling game, an adventurous game, and again, an adventurous restart that almost caught Wakefield out. And it was Sam Hobbs who eventually managed to get across to the ball as it threatened to dribble away from him and into Bradford hands.
10 metres, back up, Jimmy!
Great kick there by Paul Deacon, bouncing it in midfield. No man's land, no man's territory. Bradford have basically capitalised on that here now. 3 tackles gone. Brough scoots out of half.
Important, really, that Wakefield make a positive start to this second half. Long way to go in this game yet. They're certainly not out of the hunt, by no way. They need to really test this Bradford defence. Brough with the kick, and it's too strong. Halley happy to see it go out. Brough hangs his head.
That just kills you, that. You can tell with the body language, you can tell with the reaction from Danny Brough what it's done to him and his teammates.
Give some credit to the Bradford players in the middle of the field who came to put pressure on him, and I think was one of the reasons why he's kicked it farther to the left than he ideally wanted.
Hold!
The Bulls in defence. Here is Julian Rinaldi. Had a very brief stay at Wakefield, Rinaldi, earlier in his career. Made just 3 appearances for them in 2002, but here he goes. A darting run from the French international. Has he got support? Well, Sykes was on his other shoulder, and just at that point, Rinaldi cut across the field in the opposite direction. But it's the Bulls on the attack now, again with Halley. Jeffries turns his back and takes the tackle from his former teammates at Wakefield. Halley, Langley puts the brakes on. That's the 5th tackle. And Deacon ready to put the kick in. Menzies up to catch it. It's back with Ricky Sharif. Play on, says the referee. Sharif puts the kick in, which Grix lets bounce. Tadjalala is up. Jeffries was held back, I think. That'll be the turnover, though. So, threat from the Bulls, which Wakefield managed to contend with. They'll get possession just about 10 metres out. Chance to go down to the sidelines and get some news, half-time news from Rod Studd.
Well, a rarity in the brutal word of Super League, Bill. No injuries of any major note for either side. Bradford very pleased with the way Paul Deacon's gone, coming back from a 4-game injury absence after that knee operation. Good body language from Bradford as they went into the changing room. They look confident. They'll look to continue to be expansive and put more points on. John Keir's big task to pick Wakefield up. They've conceded 60 points in the last 3 halves of Super League, and they can ill afford to concede any more.
Here they come with Brad Drew. Drew finds Tavita Leolatu. He was looking to ship the ball on, but he's tackled by Jeffries. Drew once more. Bruff. Kyle Bibb goes to ground, but not before he manages to get the ball away. And here's Steve Snitch now. Snitch tackled by Rinaldi, and there's a hand in there from Sykes. And Wakefield will get the boost of a penalty.
It's a free lottery ticket too. On the very last tackle here, on the halfway line, Bradford are judged to have pinched the ball here, 2 men in the tackle. And now Wakefield, who have struggled a little in the last 3 minutes to put a dent in the Bradford side, and now in the part of the field when they really can play.
So that penalty takes them inside the Bulls 20, and Sculthorpe plays the ball. Drew. Snitch was his dummy runner. Another dummy runner was Bibb.
2 feet.
Ferguson plays the ball. Drew, change of direction. Bruff, closed down by Jeffries. Martin. 3 tackles gone.
Hold, go.
Here's Tavita Leolatu. And Bibb almost through there. It was Dale Ferguson, in fact, who was just impeded as he tried to get to his feet to play the ball, and another penalty. The pressure really building. Here is Kyle Bibb, and he manages to offload. Snitch once more. It's had a big game as Steve Snitch for his side. And now Bradford right on their own try line, defending this set of 6, and Bruff fires the pass, and Martin is wonderfully tackled. What a tackle that was from Semi Tadjalala. Managed to turn him round, but the danger's not gone. Still not gone as Grix gets away from the first tackler. But if they survive this, it'll be a big effort from the Bulls. Stray pass, and Snitch manages to get it, but he's lost ground and lost momentum. 4 tackles gone. Leolatu for Sculthorpe. Sculthorpe, the Bulls know that if they allow him to get his arms free, he'll offload that ball. He doesn't do that. 5th tackle.
Hold, last. Go.
Kicker is the cry from the Bulls defenders, but they weren't there quickly enough. Ferguson was. And did he get the touchdown?
And his last tackle, check the onside, offside and the grounding.
Ian Smith saying, can you check the onside, offside and the grounding? And it's the grounding, I think, which is the most dubious.
Well, Wakefield had 15 plays here in which to try and get over the line. Inevitably, it would come to the kick now. Is the man onside? This is a very difficult decision here. He's put under massive pressure, Danny Bruff, and it's a brilliant kick as he's almost in the act of being tackled at the same time. But Dale Ferguson, I would say, perhaps is just in front of the kicker. At that point, I mean, it's difficult. We can't tell there's a forward pass. You can't tell if he's in front of him from that angle. He's in mid-air. He's not on the white line. There's no real assistance given us from the lines. But after defending for 14 running players, they then go to the kick, and this is how they get through. They're now looking at the grounding, which you think he's been recognised to be onside.
You're right about the quality of the kick. His body is facing almost the other way, and he puts that kick in. His teammates respect it so much, they get in and chase as hard as they can.
The Bulls have been denied twice already by the video ref, and it's the third time, and Dale Ferguson shakes his head in disbelief. John Keir cannot believe how the fates are conspiring against his side, and that was a close call from the video ref Richard Silverwood, but again the Bulls are let off the hook.
But an enthusiastic start to this second half by this Wakefield side. They're looking up, they're playing what's in front of them. They're just really looking to promote the ball on every occasion. The big guys running really strong and hard, and if you run strong and hard, you're going to be able to get the offload away.
As Steve Menzies does there and finds Dave Halley. Halley tackled by Peterson.
John Keir needs to find a magician who can add some points onto that scoreboard for the Wildcats, because at the moment they're doing everything possible but can't quite get the numbers to add up for more than 6.
But on that as well, though, Phil, they've got to keep the composure, because they still, one of these tries will come off for them, won't they?
Hold. Go. 3.
Lynch. Here's Craig Kopchak.
4.
Got the ball away, but quickly in the tackle was Tony Martin to stop Paul Deakin making any progress. That ball from Jeffries eventually finds Semi Tadjila. Oh, and just as he was cutting in field, he lost his footing on this lush surface here. The grass has been kept pretty long by the Murrayfield ground staff. That's a good crossfield kick, and well dealt with by Peterson. Menzies was hunting for that.
Isn't that one of the most difficult skills in rugby league at the minute? Everybody running towards you, and you need to catch the ball above your head. Look at the skill level required to take that.
Go. 1.
He made it look so easy as well, did Matt Peterson, and then he took the tap on the 20 for his side. So it's a positive start to this second half from this Wakefield Trinity Wildcats team, in front of a growing crowd here at Murrayfield. It's been a lively day, plenty of fans outside enjoying the sunshine, enjoying the pre-match festivities, lots going on around the ground. And an injury to Dale Ferguson.
He's had a good game, Dale Ferguson. Runs through a fairly small hole here. Still down on the floor in background.
The referee has wiped the tackle count clean. There was a Bulls hand in there as Tavita Leolatu tried to get the pass away. Dimitru picks it up. Ferguson is still down in back play, and the signal coming from the physio is that he's going to have to come off. And they'll get the penalty with Wakefield. The ball steal. They'll surely look to keep the momentum going here.
Well, they're having the two things that all coaches talk about. Ball control here now, possession of the ball, I should say, and field position. They're in the right part of the field. Can they find that second try that needed here now to give them the lift?
2 feet.
So this is a goal as Ferguson leaves the field, a golden opportunity for Wakefield, and the ball popped up for Ollie Wilkes. Wilkes thundering towards that try line. Obst puts the brakes on, trying to wrong foot the Bradford defence. Menzies was alert to that challenge. Brough onto Tavita Leolatu. The New Zealand international tackled just short. Dimitru, pass from Dimitru finds Martin. Great defence from the Bulls on their own try line. Tadjilala was there again. Man of the match against St Helens. The kick in for Obst to chase, and Deakin will have to take that over his goal line, his own dead ball line.
Well, this could end up to be a defining moment in Bradford's season. For the last 5 minutes, we've seen some of the best goal line defence, certainly from the Bulls this season, and at a quality necessary to get you into the playoffs and possibly get you to the grand final. You have to be able to hold your line when your opponents are down here. The nature of rugby league says that your opponents will have the ball, and there'll be times when you're on your own try line. You have to stop them scoring if you want to win the big prizes.
Still 12th in the table, the Bradford Bulls, after their miserable start to the season, but they're moving in the right direction. They've got a 5-point gap to close on the top 8. They do have that game in hand, the game against Harlequins, which was snowed off. Seems an eternity ago now. Here's Jason Dimitru, try scorer for his side, just the solitary try for this Wakefield team so far, but they're threatening again here now. Here's Kevin Henderson, and the Bulls desperately defending their own try line. Dimitri, oh, that's a mistake from Obst. The pass was pretty ferocious, wasn't it?
It was a bit too hard for Dimitri. He gets out, he flings the pass really hard to Sam Obst. It was just too hard for him to catch on that occasion. But it's all about building pressure, and this is the area that you really do want to build pressure. He looks up to the heavens, because that is a chance that they've wasted.
So Bradford will have head and feet at the scrum. News of a Ferguson with a problem today. Dale Ferguson, we can hear about that from Rod Studd.
Well, confirmed as an ankle injury, Bill. He's been strapped up, iced up as well, heavily iced as well, but Wakefield haven't ruled out that he could return in the final half hour or so.
10 metres, wait.
Bradford holding on to this 20 points to 6 lead. And this game being played in cooler conditions, hearing from Sean McRae during a half-time interval just how hot it got out there during that Salford Harlequins game. We probably don't appreciate that here in this sheltered West stand that we're in, but on the far side of the field, the crowd bathing in the sunshine there. And great attendance here, and they've come from all over the place to join in this Edinburgh weekend as Burgess puts the ball down. They've come from Billinge to Bratislava, from Norwich to Norway. And they have come from... No, there's a guy from Norway down below us. I met a bloke from Bratislava.
He's actually from St Helens, and he's come over from Norway, especially for this occasion. He heard about the cheap deal on the tickets, and he booked his 2-day pass.
Well, he's going to see an exciting remainder of this game, because with half an hour to go, Wakefield are really going to challenge Bradford now. 14 points. This game's really interestingly poised. Wakefield do need to score next, but there's every indication they're getting closer and closer.
They've really dominated this second half so far of Wakefield, and they're in possession with Richard Moore back into the fray for his side. Another of the big guns, Oliver Wilkes, and Wilkes through the first line of defence. It's Burgess who stops him. It's a real test of the Bulls' defence here now. That's the fifth tackle, right in front of those posts. As Henderson it is who plays the ball, and the kick is back to one, says the referee, and then a knock-on. So, and a knock-on by Wakefield, and Blamar, I think it was, as that just tantalisingly for a moment was another set of 6, and then he couldn't get a hold of the ball.
Well, it's a very tough call here, I think, on Matt Blameyer. He's facing his own goal line. I'm not so sure how the referee's given a knock-on, but Bradford are just backslapping one another here. They've survived, again, what seems like 7 minutes here now that they've had to hold on to their own line. Partly through their own fault, errors unable to clear, partly because of the intensity that Wakefield are now applying with their defence.
Chris Nero playing the ball. He's another Bulls player who's back to bolster their side. He's missed the last 3 games, and Steve McNamara relieved that some of these troops are back anyway. Certainly Nero, Deakin returning. Still without Solomona, of course, Glenn Morrison.
10 metres, wait, goal, 3.
And the Wakefield's hopefully having Jamie Rooney back in the not too distant future. Here's Rinaldi. Here's Semi Tadjalala. Tadjalala in the ball in one hand, gets it back in field to Nero.
He's still down on the floor, Tadjalala.
Deakin. Jeffries now. Menzies screaming for the ball. Saw the opportunity. Sykes takes the pass. Was it forward? Back in field for Jeffries. And Jeffries heading for the sidelines, and good defence from Wakefield.
Well, the neutrals here at Murrayfield are certainly getting their enjoyment and entertainment here. Good ball movement here, players hitting the ball at pace, but the commitment from Wakefield in defence, even when Jeffries is held short of the line, he's driven over the side. And I think the skill that Bradford are showing here now, passing the ball so successfully to the left wing, Tadjalala keeps it alive in field to Nero, and then transferring it right over to the right wing following play. Tadjalala seems to be just about carrying a leg injury, but Wakefield know they have to survive a further Bradford score, and they're doomed.
But that's the sign of a good side, isn't it? They've been defending their own line for 6 or 7 minutes. They've marched right up the other end of the pitch and nearly come up with a try. You've got to concentrate when you're playing a team like Bradford for the full 80 minutes.
Well, aside from the supporters of all the rugby league teams who are here today, and they've come not just from Super League, but I've seen Championship supporters here as well, from Widnes, from the York City Knights, from Doncaster as well, who've come up to take part in this Murrayfield Magic weekend. But there are plenty of locals in the crowd as well, and they probably haven't seen that much in the way of attacking rugby played on this ground in recent seasons, given the fortunes of the host nation, but they've seen a feast of it so far in this game. And that's a penalty to Bradford.
Well, again, that's the discipline we spoke about. You have to be behind the kicker. Now, are they behind him? When Danny Brough, look at his leg on Danny Brough. He kicks the ball so high, the hip flexibility gets the ball. He hits it at tremendous pace. In fact, he leaves the ground as he hits it. It's going so high in the air. there's no need actually to be in front of him because you've got such a long time to get there for the kick coming down.
Bad news for the Bulls. Semi Tajilala, who's had a really strong game, continuing the form he showed against St Helens, is leaving the field. So they're having to shuffle things around to the Bulls. I think Chris Nero has gone out onto that left wing. And Warrensey is on. Two-try hero of that victory over St Helens. The Bulls. Oof! Langley got the ball and Tavita Leolatu at the same time. Manages to cling on to the vital ingredient. That's the ball. And here's Matt Cook. That's the 5th tackle. The Bulls steadying the ship a little bit after that assault from Wakefield at the start of the second half. Burgess on the last. Burgess still going, got the pass away, and Warrensey will drop on it, but it'll be the handover.
On the 10.
And the Wildcats working as hard as possible here. They put pressure on the kicker. They saw off that threat. It meant that Big Sam Burgess was running with the ball. They had to stop him. Now then, on previous sets of possession, Wakefield have had good speed around this play of the ball, and they're able to get 50 metres in a set. Have they still got that energy now, having given their all for the last 15 minutes?
Well, there's plenty more action to come, and don't forget that there is a replay of the Hull FC against Castleford game on Sky Sports Extra. That's at 10 o'clock on Sunday, if you missed that one.
Ronaldo, the man in your screen, he's the bin. Oh, look at that, plenty of blood there. Jamie Langley, he's worked really hard. He's put 27 tackles in and got a bit of a bash on his forehead for his troubles, but as I always say, chicks dig, scars built.
Bulls with problems then, Langley with the blood and Semi Tajilala with a problem. Hear about that from Rod.
Tajilala with a tight hamstring, Bill, tight left hamstring. I would think it's unlikely that we'll see him again during the afternoon unless something desperate happens. No problem with Jamie Langley, though. They'll just mop that up and get him straight back on.
There is Semi Tajilala.
You wouldn't risk Semi Tajilala if he's got a tight hamstring and he could only miss this game. He might be fit for next week. But they've put Dave Halley on the wing. They put Chris Nero in the centre, and at back they put Paul Sykes at fullback.
They have, yep.
I was going to make the point about Ronaldo. He's steadied up the ship while Terry Newton's had a blow. I think it's about time Terry Newton's reintroduced to this game to spark up this Bradford team.
Well, as you say that, Barry, Terry Newton is out of the dugout and he's just having a bit of a loosener on the sidelines. As talking to the sidelines, the Bulls are under threat down that side, but a stray pass, real hit and hope pass it was from Sam Obst.
Do you think
it's the Bulls who pick it up? Born
out of the frustration here from how well Bradford are defending. It was never really on a 1,000,000 to 1 shot that he went down the short side on that very last tackle.
Scrutiny. The sides have just gone into their shell a little bit after an exuberant display in the first half. We haven't quite seen the ball thrown around with such abandon in the second half, but maybe the pace as well has got something to do with that.
I think Wakefield have thrown the ball about this second half, Bill. They're not trying to play the percentage rugby, they're trying to score, trying to force Bradford into coming out of their own half all the time. But Bradford are a championship side.
That's the kick from Sykes, just too strong. Blamar runs it over the line, or lets it run over the line rather. A tap on the 20 with Peterson.
10 metres! Hold!
Did you see Lynch then? Did you see what he did with Peterson's arm? I see a lot of that in Super League these days. Grabbing the wrist of an opponent, trying to slow that player the ball down.
Not chicken winging, surely.
No, no, no.
Well, you'll see, Bill, that you're always like Richard Mothers trying to get up, play the ball, so he's putting his hand down so he can stand up. You take that away, you can't really, it's very hard to stand up.
Dark world of deeds of the professional. Wilkes, great offload from Wilkes, but Snitch couldn't take it.
Sub-Zero!
Oof, that was high. That was high from Brough.
Well, Wakefield needs some reward for their efforts, and I think they're starting to tire because that scoreboard hasn't increased. They're still seeing a big number 6 next to their name, and they're needed for all of the effort they've put in for the last 20 minutes. They needed to be a little bit closer to Bradford at this point.
The penalty to the Bulls.
Can Bradford find a killer punch here now? Both sides slowed down. I think that's because of the third quarter of this game has been the most intense rugby we've seen so far of the Magic Weekend.
Here is Lynch now. Lynch over the 40-metre line. The Bulls ahead by 20 points to 6. As you were at half-time, not a point added in this second half. There is Jamie Langley. The blood still pumping from that cut on his brow. Deacon, Jeffries loops the pass out to Sharif, who comes back in field. Held cries the referee, and Wakefield resists the attempt to carry on with the tackle, probably would have been penalised. The loose pass from Jeffries, and Henderson drops on the ball. Looking a bit weary, the Bulls.
To be your first.
Here's Blameyer. Over the 30-metre line.
Hold, go, 1.
Still 20 minutes of this game to go, and bit of weariness creeping in from these two sides.
Well, one score for Wakefield and they would get back in it, but you can't see here are they going to get close enough. They're shifting it wide. I don't think they've got the speed to go around the Bradford side. Penalty helps. That's the big help.
What you've done is you've used his head as a lever to bring it to the fore.
Paul Deacon just disputing that call, and Ian Smith just explaining the reasons for it.
Well, this is the set now that Wakefield need to get something from.
First Mexican wave of the weekend going round the ground.
Come on, Bill, stand up.
Wait, go.
Wilkes on the charge.
Hold. Move. Go, 1.
Plays the ball. Jason Demetriou, still his try, the only points converted by Bruff, the only points that Wakefield have managed in this game. 3 disallowed by the video ref for Wakefield. Sure, that'll be a bone of contention for their coach John Keir if they do go on to lose this game, but that's by no means certain, because they're on the attack again, on the charge again. The pass is a stray one, and will Cook get there? No, it's back to 1 because Cook put a boot in and Wakefield have the ball back. This is a golden opportunity, and Snitch almost through a gap right in front of those posts. They come to the short side with Jason Demetriou, and Demetriou has lost that ball. It was stolen. Another penalty. John Keir heads down to the sidelines.
Well, they're given enough opportunity here to score and get back in the contest. Can anybody in a Wakefield shirt get over the line and put the ball down?
Richard Moore. Tackled about 8 metres out. Atkins. The Bulls have spent most of this second half defending that try line. Obst, Henderson, his supporting runner. Obst has got away from the first. He's got a supporter in Martin. Martin is over the line. He's held up and driven back by this magnificent Bulls defence again. Tony Martin denied. Bruff, Stubb, pops the ball up for Snitch.
Hold, go, 4.
Demetriou and Sharif with a hand in there.
Well,
and it'll be another set of 6.
And the short pass to Atkins put them in here. Unfortunately, he went for the longer one to the wingman. He was looking for Peterson. Atkins was in a hole. In fact, he was almost over the line with the ball down. It was such a close play. They've tried with brute force. They've now brought on some brains. Brad Drew back on the field. Has he got the keys to unlock Bradford defence?
Wakefield attacking that northern end of this Murrayfield Stadium, the end where their supporters are massed, and it is a great turnout from Wakefield supporters as well in that stand, urging their team on. They know that if they can get a try in the near future, then that really is going to open this game up. And there they sit, nervously watching their side, again on the attack with Obst. Obst for Atkins, how he'd love to get a try against his old club, but he's knocked the ball on, and John Keir turns away in frustration.
Well, you have to compliment great defence when it's on show, and it certainly has been here today. That is sensational from Bradford. Absolutely sensational. Deacon does it his best effort, and then Burgess comes over the top, and the force of the collision frees the ball from Atkins' arms and takes so much pressure from the Bradford side.
But again, Phil, do you not think it was the wrong option with Jason Demetriou? Here they go. That man, Jason Demetriou, as I just said his name, he picked the ball up from a mistake by Menzies, but he couldn't control it. There's the mistake by Menzies. Jason Dimitri had the ball in his hands. All he had to do was get over that white line. And John Keir,
what has his side got to do to score? Well, they've got the one try, but they could have had 4 or 5 more. Combination of the video ref and their own handling. Tony Martin again trying his luck. Plenty of tackles in the bag in this set of 6.
Bradford
Kevin Henderson now.
Bradford have been good on the goal line defence. Heroic all day.
Drew, Obst, Snitch, again trying to get to that. He's got over the line, Steve Snitch. He's earned that one. And Snitch gets the try that Wakefield have been threatening all through this second half. And those Wildcat supporters do get to their feet to salute their second rower, who gets his 3rd try of the season. And he has worked hard for the team. And a try that could give Wakefield the opportunity to overhaul the Bradford Bulls, who are still not home and dry in this game.
Well, just when Bradford thought the pressure was off, Menzies came up with a simple error, no pressure on him, and Wakefield were given even more possession and time to attack the opponent's line. It's great passing, wonderful play by Obst. Most teams do similar things, but it's the quality with which you do those actions which often goes on to determine the winners and the losers. And Obst little in and away, holds the ball up, eventually frees it to Snitch, who just determines himself to bounce over the top of the Bulls' defence. Rarely in a game of rugby league have one side had the field position and dominance that Wakefield have had in the last 25 minutes.
Brough has missed with that conversion attempt, and to be fair to the kickers, and we mentioned Paul Deacon missing them, they haven't really had an opportunity to test the kicking requirements of this ground, if you like. They were allowed a 20-minute walk around.
Look at this here. Steve Menzies come flying in from nowhere, knocked his own players off. He knocked Paul Deacon on the floor, otherwise that would have been held up. The Bradford players would have held Steve Snitch up, but he's deserved that try this afternoon.
He has. He's worked really, really hard, Steve Snitch. Probably been the best for Wakefield, but don't tell him a secret.
Bradford taking their time about this restart. Steve McNamara knowing that it could be an anxious remainder of this game. They lead by 20 points to 10. And that try from Snitch, the first points we've seen in the second half, it's been a real battle. Wakefield hammering at the Bradford line.
Now I'm sure the message from John Keir would have been get down, run as hard as you can like that.
Ollie Wilkes doing just that, and then Peterson in support.
It'll say, get us near that try line again.
Ollie Wilkes, can you run me 100 metres?
Richard Moore will have a try.
It was a good message, that, to be fair, Tez.
I'm telling you, I could read him.
And Wakefield really sensing that Bradford are flagging. Of course, it was a massive effort from the Bulls against Saints to get over them last Friday. We've had time to recover from it, but it must have been draining. It was an emotional night as well. The try scorer, Snitch, reversing towards that Bradford Bulls try line.
Hold. Go for.
Here's Wilkes again.
Last 10 metres, Ben. Go.
Drew with the kick. Menzies,
More
safety
tackling.
first.
More
Shove that
tackling
ball
practice.
over the dead ball line. It'll be a goal line dropout. It's all Wakefield.
They've almost made 200 tackles, Bradford, in this match. It's been tremendous. They need to work hard here. There's too many Wakefield players in the frame for Menzies to allow. Look at this from Ollie Wilkes. That's how you run onto a ball. It's the next bit where he gets lost.
Hold. Come on.
Oliver Wilkes celebrating his 29th birthday today, and this is his 44th consecutive appearance. A great run, and that includes his time at Widnes as well, because he was an ever-present with them for a couple of seasons. Still to come, Wigan against St Helens. Well, this has been a great appetizer for the main event. Well, that would, the fans of other supporters would dispute that. Terry O'Connor disputing that.
Can't say
Wigan
the main
against St
event.
Helens. It's been given top billing, that's all I'm saying.
What about the Quins and Salford? What about this game? Wakefield Bradford.
Well, that's exactly right. Here's the birthday boy.
I think if Wakefield score one try, they'll go on to score two and win the game. So Bradford's here now. They're defending for the match.
Obst, Warrency with the tackle.
2 feet on the line,
Just a hint of desperation now about this Bradford side. They're really struggling to get out of danger. Moore, Drew, Henderson now. Henderson. Halley, it was Jeffries, I think, who just got a hand to him to stop his progress. The kick comes in. And has he got a second? It's Blaymire, I think, who's on the follow-up. Well, that will be some try if Matt Blaymire has got this. And I think, in the days of his youth, Matt Blaymire was a bit of a footballer. Well, that was nifty footwork, if it was his foot.
They've had some bad luck today. Maybe it's time they got the bounce of the ball going in their favour. Clearly off a Bradford player, off his back heel. He might not be the world keep-you-upping champion, but I think he's just scored 4 more points here for Wakefield. It's the one touch that takes it through the line. We'll see it again here. Brad Drew stabs it with his foot, off Lawrence's thigh, just about off the back of his foot or shin. Waits calmly for it to ground and scores. And Bradford now are under all sorts of pressure. For half an hour, they virtually had to defend, defending most of that time near their own try line. And they're just given the chance to get their breath back here as we see confirmation of Matt Blaymire's try.
Is it 7th try of the season for Matt Blaymire? Is it the first video ref decision that is going to go the way of the Wakefield Trinity Wildcats? Yes, it is! They've got one right at last, and Matt Blaymire gets his 7th try of the season. He'll tell you that he meant that.
I was talking to John Kay before the game, and he said we've been practicing on a real special move. He said, watch Matt Blaymire, when he gets near to the line, he's going to chip it over the back of his head and he's going to ground it and get us back into this game.
Better than anything you'd have seen at the Nou Camp. And Martin with the conversion from right in front of the posts. And Wakefield really are back in this game now, and Bradford are under pressure. It's been all Wakefield in this second half as they've narrowed the gap.
Well, it's obvious you're going to have more energy here now when you're chasing the game, and Wakefield have shown the energy and the commitment to get to the ball first. Matt Blaymire, probably an unnoticed and underrated fullback in Super League, but consistently performs at or close to his best.
Are they going to kick it to Oliver Wilkes again? Can he bust through, Bill? Can he go the full length of the pitch this time?
Steve McNamara will be hoping that his side can just get a grip on this game, because they haven't had one since the second half got underway, really. They've spent most of this second half defending their own try line, and for a while it looked as though they were going to get away with it. Well, here he goes again.
No, I don't think he got the message down in time, Tez.
Spoil sport.
Snitch.
2, and then Craig!
That's Steve Snitch, plays the ball. Here's Jason Dimitriou. So just the 4 points in it now.
Hold, go.
And Wakefield's still got time. Coming up to 9 minutes on the clock. And they've lost that ball, a knock-on, and that'll be precious relief for the Bradford Bulls, and a cheer of relief from the Bulls supporters.
Do you know, Richard Moore's got that ball in 2 hands. He's offering it to one of his teammates. They are chasing the game. Look at that. He can't get it back in. Players too far back. I wouldn't be too harsh on Richard Moore. It's not the ideal place to give away the ball, but they are chasing the game.
So Bradford with the ball in hand for what seems the first time in ages.
This is when you find out who your real strong characters are. Who wants the ball now? It's very easy with 9 minutes to go on a 4-point lead to rely on your teammates. You need some confidence here now, some real strong leadership to say, give me the ball, I'm going to still want to play here.
Burgess takes the tackle. You saw Jamie Langley back in action, obviously had that cut patched up. Here's Craig Kopczak. Kopczak for Deacon. Jeffries takes the tackle from Tony Martin. And Bradford will take as much time as they can to get through processes here. Clinging onto this lead now, the Bulls. They didn't exactly have the game in their grasp at half-time, but they certainly had a measure of control, but it slipped away from them. Jeffries puts the kick in. It's into that space behind Grix, and Grix will take the tackle, and that's exactly what the Bulls wanted.
What a perfect kick when under pressure. This is the real test that you have. Can you perform those skills whilst fatigued under pressure? Did he just leave the field of play?
And we saw Ryan Atkins have a similar prospect in front of him. He chose to hit the player whilst in the air, and I think that's the difference between these two sides.
That's a good goal line dropout, and Kopczak has to go back and field it from inside his own 40. He turns and finds Wakefield waiting for him. On the 40-metre line now then. Langley, and precious possession for this Bradford Bulls side. They've been starved of it in the second half. Clinging on to the lead here.
Well, knowing how dangerous Wakefield are, Bradford have to score.
And Burgess looking to do that. Burgess still going. Burgess, and Sculthorpe eventually gets a grip on him and brings him down. But what a lifter that is from Burgess. Newton then. Oh, and Deacon just manages to keep a cling on that.
Stand forward, that is goal! Done it! Goal!
Plays the ball. Deacon it was. Jeffries, Warrancy, and Warrancy, just as he was against St Helens, is the right man in the place to ease those nerves for the Bulls supporters. And could that see off this Wakefield fight back? Michael Warrancy gets his 5th try of the season. And a sigh of relief you feel from not just the Bulls supporters, but the Bulls players as well.
Well, I think there's a great show of strength of character here from Bradford. Under pressure, with their opposition coming back and minutes, just a few minutes remaining in the game, they were able to deliver firstly the kick that got them repeated set of possession, and then a wonderful delayed pass, Ben Jeffries to Michael Warrancy. He commits defenders by holding the ball so late. 2 hands out in front, puts Warrancy through. Here's Paul Deacon, just about keeps hold of possession. Magic from Paul Deacon, not from Paul Daniels, to keep the ball alive for Bradford, and Ben Jeffries makes sure that Warranty goes on to win this game.
A try scorer in that defeat at Wakefield on Easter Monday, when the Bulls went down by just a couple of points, and they're on course now, are they, to get revenge for that. And Deacon hoping to land this one, improve his goal-kicking stats. Back in the side, of course, today, Paul Deacon. There's no coincidence with the way the Bulls have got round the park, and Deacon is on target. And are the Bulls on target for back-to-back wins now? They lead by 26 points to 16.
And again, it was that Michael Warranty last week against St Helens. He come up with 2 tries late in the second half. He just hits a real good line. He knows that Ben Jeffries is going to take the ball to the line, and that's relieving the pressure for Steve McNamara.
We probably haven't given Burgess enough of credit. We talked about strong characters. Sam Burgess, for such a young man, has credit, has character in bucket loads.
Frustration from Jason Dimitriou, who's seen the prospect of overhauling the Bulls just maybe disappear with that try. Well, with 4.5 minutes to go, he commits that shove with the knee on Paul Sykes. The penalty goes to the Bulls, and they'll edge down into Wakefield territory. 9 apiece in the penalty count.
2 very evenly balanced sides. Wakefield won at home just over Easter. Bradford look as though they're going to win this game.
Here's Burgess. He's been a tower of strength for his side. So Bradford on course to make further progress up the table, starting the magic weekend in 12th place. Here is Lynch, and it looks as though that try has really lifted the shackles off Bradford, and Wakefield just, well, backtracking now, giving it their best shot. And of course they'll talk about those video ref decisions that went against them. Kopczak almost through. On the last, Newton pops it up, and that was forward. And it'll be the turnover. Lynch, it was steaming onto it. But
well, again, you see him from Terry Newton. It's a delayed pass. The referee says it's delayed for too long. But you're starting to see some subtlety in the attack from Bradford. Early in the season, they couldn't find ways to score. They couldn't get their teammates over the try line. Now you're starting to see a renewed confidence, and the passing plays bearing fruits.
Wakefield, well, they were disappointed with their performance against Wigan, especially given the standards they've set themselves so far this season to be up among the top 6. They've certainly responded to that disappointment here today, but the damage done in the first half, and Dimitriou puts that ball down. and Newton. Steve Menzies involved in arguably, well, long way to go yet. We might see better tries in the remainder of the Magic weekend, but really has set the bar pretty high. Langley now. And the Bradford Bulls supporters who've been down in the dumps this season after the start their side made, the worst start to a Super League campaign. Well, a lot perkier now, and there'll be some lively Bulls supporters in Edinburgh tonight.
That guy's been strong, Sam Burgess, so has Andy Lynch. They've just not been afraid to throw this ball about.
Warranty,
just look at this.
Warranty in support, back on the inside, and Sykes will get his third of the game. What a way to finish the day off. Paul Sykes completes the hat-trick. In support there, and the Bulls really finishing this game as they started. And the shackles really are off Bradford now. Whisper it in Super League, but the Bulls are back.
That's certainly right. They've shown today they can defend with the best. Time and again they were asked to hold out their line. They held the line, and now they're showing here now. This is 3 passes, firstly among forwards, and then they shift the ball wide to some backs. Jeffries, Warranty, keeping the ball alive. Good players, good catch, good two hands, and enough speed now amongst Bradford's backs to show that they can score longer range tries. The Bulls, you know, still have every possibility of ending up maybe in the top 4 by the end of the season. And supporters only remember the second half of the season. We're almost at the halfway line. Have the Bulls turned the corner?
Well, I seem to remember the sage of Wigan predicting very early on in the season, when Bradford were struggling, that they would possibly be grand final contenders. And this possibly is grand final contender form. Well, maybe for an hour of this game, certainly 20 minutes to half an hour in this second half. The Bulls were under the cosh, but they demonstrated defensive capabilities then.
There's 2 parts to this game, God invented defending and attacking, and I think Bradford have shown quality in both of it. It's been an outstanding performance, and let's not take credit away from Wakefield. They very much took the game to the Bulls.
And Wakefield will talk about those video ref decisions which have denied them 3 tries. It could have been a very different story. As it is, it's a story that ends with the Bradford Bulls recording another victory. Back-to-back wins for the Bulls, and they dominated the first half. They weathered the storm in the second half. Worrying moments for the Bulls as Wakefield really came hammering back at them. Great response from Wakefield to the adversity of the first half, and getting within touching distance of the Bulls, but just running out of steam at the end. And those late tries from Warranty and Sykes, his hat-trick to mark his 50th appearance, wrapping up the win. And it'll be a mighty relief for this Bradford side.